of and then pass that message along to the players. So it's been a challenging week in that regard. Obviously, a very disappointing outcome, particularly the second half, and it's been talked about a lot. But we moved on to Nebraska at this point, and it's a great challenge on a short week.
What was the biggest issues you saw on second and third quarter?
Yeah, I mean, just it's kind of like a broken record a little bit. It's a kind of a perfect storm of it was a perfect storm of events. It was maybe not putting our guys in a great situation with a call a time or two, and then when we did have opportunities, we just weren't able to capitalize on those. And at the end of the day, it falls on me. Like I'm the coordinator, and my job is to coordinate the offense. And at times we looked uncoordinated. To be honest with you, and that's obviously disappointing. And that's how it's kind of been through the first 5 weeks. There's just been moments and ebbs and flows where we're just not tightened up and I don't know if uncoordinated is the right word, but we're not a well-oiled machine. And you're going to make mistakes in football. That's going to happen. It's an imperfect game, coached by imperfect coaches, played by imperfect players. But we're in the pursuit of perfection, and we just have not found a game through 4 quarters that we've had a lot of consistency, starting with me. And so that's obviously what our pursuit is, and our focus is trying to get to that point this week.
So you guys get more consistency. What is that kind of identity you guys kind of want to achieve offensively?
Well, we want to, that's one of the things that, we talked about this, I think, last week, is from an identity standpoint, it's still not real clear. And that's my job to make sure we have one. And I'm in charge of leading that. And, right now, we know what it is in words. We're not putting it into action on the field. And so that's obviously a great challenge for us right now and that is our direct challenge, is to make what we say and what we do come to life on a game field.
After the game, Brett said, work on not being predictable in early downs. What do you hear on that? Is that formations? Is it a tell? Is it something else?
Yeah, it's all that. Tells, formations, run pass, keeping people more off balance. There's a lot that goes into that.
Barry, how comfortable with under center, especially for some of those short yardage situations?
He's getting more comfortable. Obviously hadn't shown up very much, but that's something that we work on a daily basis, every day. Work on it every day. We're getting, I think, more and more comfortable. I don't think originally that was the case. And just to be frank, and I think we're getting closer. I know we are. We've made much improvement there, so that's something that obviously is on the table for us.
Are you comfortable with maybe veteran players coming to you and going, look, what we're doing right now is not working. I don't like the way this feels. Just feedback from players.
I think that's always really critical, to get feedback from your veteran players and guys that are out there and have been with you for and for my case 2 years now. And so. But ultimately, it's my charge. That's my charge to be able to discern and figure out, where the challenges are and how to fix them. And that's something obviously we're working as an offensive staff tirelessly to fix, and they got to get fixed.
What is the challenge of scheming around protection issues, which is obviously happening this year?
Yeah, sure, and it's not unique. I mean, I've been in this situation before. I mean, that's I've got to do a better job of helping our guys, and including our quarterback. Like when you're average 3rd and 9 as your distance on 3rd down, that's everybody in the stadium pretty much knows you got to throw the ball. I mean, with the occasional run or two, and then once you run it, you're short. That doesn't really go very well either, So, but you got to be able to inject a run occasionally. That's to take stress off, the line and from getting teed off on with the twist in the games. And you got good defenses and good defensive coaches in this league, and when you get in those obvious passing situations, you put yourself in a real tough situation for your O-line, your quarterbacks, and it's going to happen, but we got to execute better in those, and I got to have a better plan for our guys to be more comfortable.
I mean, there was an intent to incorporate more of the vertical passing game this year, but with the protection issues, I mean, do you need to dial up maybe some quicker hitters, just Luke to get the ball out quick, just to keep him upright?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that that we're probably leaning a little too much on drop back protection, even on some early downs, and that's certainly going to be something we carry. There's different ways to do it other than just straight drop back. Last week was a little bit unique in that regard because the scheme was kind of isolated all 5 guys, and we knew that going into it, And but yeah, we just got to. Here's the bottom line. Like, all the questions are all centered around the same thing, and they should be. Like, we got to get better. We got to get better at running. We got to get better at protecting. We got to get better at scoring, and that all starts with me. And so There's a lot of things to fix. We're working hard to do that. We had a good day today, so I'm excited about the opportunity on Friday night here in front of our people to hopefully piece together our best game of the year. It'll be a great challenge. Tough scheme to go against. Tough sledding interiorly, tough guys, big and strong. And so, but yeah, I mean, it's like we got to get rid of the ball quicker. We got to be more efficient on first down. We got to score. That's the bottom line. The bottom line is we got to score, and all those other things are what you would say root causes of us not scoring, and it starts with me.
You mentioned the interior. Anything else stand out to you about Nebraska?
Well, the multiplicity in the back end. It's it's the Rocky Long defense. This is my third time now to go against it as a coordinator in the last 2 years or 3 years. Gone against it each of the last 3 years now. And it's just a very unique scheme. It's a small tree of guys that know the system, and the multiplicity of what they do in the back end is extremely challenging and impressive the way they do it.
What have you seen more of the young guys gotten more involved here recently? Rich Kagan, Canary, what have you seen from them the last couple of weeks and how they've progressed?
Yeah, I think they're all progressing. A lot of those guys. We want multiple guys to touch the ball. We want to be. We want people to have to account for a lot of different people, and including our young guys that have injected some nice plays into it. So that'll hopefully continue to show up for us. And but I think they've each gotten more comfortable and better as each week's gone on, and earning more trust and faith, from us as a staff.
I know game flows determine a lot of what can do the
Game
run
flows,
game
yeah.
sometimes, but I mean, what's kind of the key to getting more consistency in the run game in first and second down?
Yeah, we got to scheme up, better runs. That's where it starts, and then we have to, play with great technique. I mean, great runs and great plays are a result of great fundamentals. And fundamentally, starting with like the design of the play, right, and then the execution within the play, and consistency in the O-line and the tight end play and the perimeter blocking all goes into the run game. So it's every person on our team touches and is involved in that. Whether it's the quarterback pulling the ball when maybe he should give it, or whether we should throw it when he shouldn't give it. Those are decisions that all affect its consistency there in the run game. But I thought we made some strides there last week, just not from a consistent enough standpoint for 4 quarters.
Brett had talked about Isaiah Adams right now, feels like right tackle, which where we've seen him is where you guys want to keep him. So what's the balance, I guess, of maybe getting him back to a position that he's natural versus just a position of need at right tackle?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always the talking point, and we don't make those moves and those decisions lightly, and coaches involved in those obviously, and ultimately his opinion is the one that matters the most. But we were all on the same page about what we wanted to do and what we felt like the best thing for our team was to do. And so I think you always weigh those things, and each week is a little bit unique and different, but we're trying to develop some consistency there, and I think we're getting closer to that.
I mean, you've had some pretty successful opening drives of games. I know how the game plays out can change things, but is there some underlying aspect of maybe that opening drive that can carry over with the offense?
I mean, obviously that's something I'm reflecting on. I don't feel like it's a whole too different the other series than the first one. I think our guys come out ready to play and kind of know what to expect. We got to make better in-game adjustments. That's part of it. Again, going back to me, but I think our guys have come ready to play each of the first, the several of those drives. I think not all of them. I think we went 3 and out against Kansas, if I'm not mistaken. I think, but other than that, I think the other times we've had the ball, it's been semi-successful. Ultimately, the best way to measure that is go score. And we came up short. Obviously last week we didn't finish the drive, and then the week before, we had an opportunity and to get down there, and we didn't get points. And so those are tough things when you open the drive up and don't score. I think that's the biggest thing. Is like when we do have a good first drive, we need to take advantage and score to help propel our momentum and our confidence as we get in the game.
When you're not having the success you want, is there times you lean back on, experience you lean back on, or people you lean on right now to figure it all out?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, all that. I heard a sermon a few years ago on a podcast about the title of the message was the insight of hindsight, and that's always kind of stuck with me. Just the incredible insight that you can gain from looking back at your past experiences. And I've certainly, as a coordinator, not at the Big Ten level, not at the University of Illinois, but I've been through times where things weren't going the way that I wanted them to go in my professional life and my personal life. And as we all know, that's part of life. Life it's not easy, and so when you go through moments and consecutive weeks where you don't feel like you're performing and you're letting people down, you think you have to really look deep on you know, like a lot of avenues. And for me, it is looking back on past experiences as a play caller to say, listen, what helped us get through this? And we did break through here, and we just kept, don't lose faith, and just keep doing these right things and help your players get in good position. There will be a breakthrough. You know, from a personal standpoint, you know, I rely on my faith a lot, and that's something that's very important to me. That doesn't make it any easier, but that's my source of consistency, and that's my rock. Is that I know during tough times that's part of life, you know, and says that you're supposed to consider it a joy. That doesn't mean it is a joy. You're just supposed to count it up to know that a tough season has helped mending you or molding you into the person that you know that you're created to be. And so, but yeah, so we're all as a staff digging on our past experiences and what we can do to do better, what we can do schematically to help our guys. You know, like it's an all-encompassing look in. You know, like it just is. Like what can we do schematically? What can we do? Personnel-wise, what can we do in the play calling standpoint? And obviously, the thing that we all have to do is to look in the mirror and not look out the window. You know, it's easy to look out the window in these situations and look at what other people are doing. But you got to look in the mirror and say, it starts with me. I'm Barry Lunney. I'm the offensive coordinator. It's my job to coordinate this offense. It's my job to get this offense playing better.
Coach, what did the search for positives on Saturday was one the 2-minute drill right before the half to get that field goal?
Yeah. I think the first drive, you know, was fairly positive.
Sure.
Right before the first half, we had some explosive plays, and our guys were competing.
My only point was that's that situational thing where you just don't know what you got until you see it in the game. And you
Yeah,
saw
right.
it on Saturday.
Yeah, and then the clock wasn't working. You know, so that added an element of difficulty. You know, the degree of difficulty there would have been pretty high on a platform dive. You know,
Sure.
Doing an end of half with no clock. And coach did a great job of keeping us abreast of what was going on and what, you know, what the clock was. I thought our players didn't panic, you know, and did a nice job in getting those points. You know, that was huge, even though it didn't have any impact on the end of the game. But for us going in the locker room, like to get those 3 points on an end of half situation where we executed a few of our like specialty plays to get that extra 5 yards, and we were on the same page and we did it. Yeah, there was a lot of bright spots. Some guys individually played very well. Julian played his probably best game. You know, like there was a lot of bright spots. Caden Fagan ran hard, you know. I mean, number one made a couple incredible plays, you know, and guys strained. So we just got to piece that together on a more consistent basis, all 11 guys with me guiding them for us to get where we want to get.
Coach, how much guidance and direction do you get from Coach Bielema in terms of what he wants the offense to look like and be on Saturday?
Yeah, sure. Well, we a lot, you know, but it's not necessarily conversations on a daily basis. We have those, and we had those last year when things were going better. You know, we had those. But I know him, and I've worked for him for a long time. I know what he expects. I know what he wants, and you know, like I mean. And we're not giving that to him right now, and I don't mean that. And the results aren't being given, and that's ultimately what we're all after. But yeah, there's a certain feel and flow of the game that he hired me to administer and to make sure, you know, to coordinate is the word I'm looking for, you know, and to get us out there playing, you know, with a physical run game, using play action and getting the ball on the perimeter to our playmakers, and that's got to be something that's got to show up more.
Obviously, everyone looks at offensive line when sacks happen, but how was Luke handling pass rush and getting the ball out?
Not consistently well. I think it's a combination of a bunch of things. Again, too many third and longs, sometimes probably peeking at the rush a little bit. We've talked about that. Getting more comfortable with being in those scenarios. On the flip side of that, he's used his legs in a really nice fashion several times, but we've got to sit in there better. But we got to avoid those obvious situations where it's pass and people can tee off on our linemen and you know and collapse the pocket and penetrate a little bit. You know, it's not a one person or a one position. To your point, and that was a fair question, that it's you can pinpoint on. You know, it's probably a symptom of us not being consistent enough offensively. Is you know that you now have to deal with obvious passing situations, and we had some guys open and we didn't get to them, but the rush didn't allow us a couple times. Could have stood in there another time or two and probably delivered the ball. That's all about getting better, and we all got to continue to push forward. This would be his 7th start, you know, and it's time for that to start trending in the right direction. He showed some really nice signs, made some really nice plays the other day, but from a consistent standpoint, him and we got to be better.